Discover the incredible Earth of the Proterozoic Eon, unveiling 2 billion years of hidden wonders. The announcement echoed through the cramped hallways of Maplewood High, but for Mr. Peterson, it was more than just words on a poster. It was the promise of inspiration, a guiding light cutting through the darkness of daily struggles his students faced. He had devoted himself to sharing the miracles of science with kids who often felt trapped in a cycle of despair, but the weight of their burdens hung heavy in the air. "Can you just imagine?" he said, his voice trembling with excitement. "Fossils over 2 billion years old. We're so close to unveiling a piece of history." The classroom buzzed with curiosity, a rare flicker of hope among faces dulled by economic strife. Yet, nestled beneath their enthusiasm lay the reality that overshadowed their dreams. Bills to pay, mouths to feed, and futures that felt increasingly uncertain as spring unfurled itself around the Maple River. Mr. Peterson discovered a fossil bed that bristled with potential. He envisioned students, those weary souls digging into the earth, uncovering a legacy that had waited eons for them to notice. He could see mothers and fathers joining in, laughter cascading like sunlight across the muddy banks. "We'll have a field trip," he declared, heart racing. "Families can learn together. We can celebrate our town." But as his words echoed into silence, the realization hit him like a cold slap. The local business owners, his would-be allies, scoffed. They were gripped by fear, backs against the wall, convinced Mr. Peterson's dream was yet another burden, not a blessing. "We can't afford any more distractions," one barked amidst the murmurs of disbelief. The room filled with a heavy silence, the weight of doubt pressing down on Mr. Peterson, squeezing the air from his lungs. One evening, after another fraying day, Mr. Peterson sat in that same cramped classroom, the glow of fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows. Despair settled in like an unwelcome visitor. Was anything worth the struggle, the sweat, the sleepless nights spent planning lessons? Just when he thought all was lost, a familiar face emerged from the crowd at a community meeting. Bill, a former veteran, stood to speak. He recounted tales of battles fought, not just on foreign soil but right at home, the spirit of Maplewood, bruised but unbroken. "The kids need to know they're not alone," Bill implored, his voice thick with emotion. "We've faced storms before and rebuilt this town." Suddenly, connections sparked like fireworks. Those kids in Mr. Peterson's class were facing their own battles, and standing together, they could weather anything. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet, for all Bill's wisdom, a storm still loomed. Would Maplewood rise to the call of purpose, or would fear outweigh hope yet again? As Mr. Peterson clutched that tangible fossil in his hand, a symbol of resilience and wonder, he felt a fire rekindle in his chest. He longed to awaken the town from its slumber of despair, to ignite their curiosity. Could they dig deeper into their own lives and find the hidden treasures buried beneath their fears? The path ahead teetered on the edge of uncertainty, but as he prepared for the regional science fair, Mr. Peterson knew he had to take that leap of faith. The hidden wonders of their own lives awaited discovery, but would they be willing to dig? The next day, Mr. Peterson marched into Maplewood High with renewed determination. The sun streamed through the classroom windows, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. He felt a spark of hope. It was time to shift the energy from doubt to action. Today, he would plant the seeds of possibility in his students' minds. "All right, everyone, gather around," he called, clapping his hands together. The students revived from their dull reverie. They hesitated, exchanging glances as if unsure what to expect, but curiosity pulled them closer. "We're going to do something amazing," he said, grinning from ear to ear. "We're going on an adventure. Not just to uncover fossils, but to unearth the spirit of Maplewood." Voices erupted in excitement and questions. "Where are we going, Mr. Peterson?" one student asked, leaning forward in her desk. "Will we really find fossils?" Another chimed in. He could see their enthusiasm rising, like a kite soaring against a blue sky. Little did they know, he had more surprises up his sleeve than just digging at the riverbank. "First, I want you all to help me plan our field trip. We've got to convince the town's folks that this is worth their time," he said, pacing excitedly as he spoke. "Let us brainstorm how this adventure can bring us together and help everyone see what we truly can accomplish when we work as a team." Ideas started flying across the room. Parents could cook meals, local artists could help design a banner, and maybe even a few business owners might want to join in on the fun. The conversation turned lively, each voice building upon the last. With every word, Mr. Peterson felt the weight he'd been carrying lift a little more, replaced by a sense of belonging. This was more than a science project. This was crucial for bringing together a fractured community. As the days rolled on, students began to rally their families. Posters adorned the local grocery store windows, and conversations buzzed around town about the upcoming field trip. The night before their expedition, families gathered in the school auditorium. Mr. Peterson stood at the podium, heart racing as he surveyed the crowd. Parents, siblings, neighbors all united in purpose. "I want you to think of this as our own chance to make history," he said, his voice strong and steady. "With every shovel of dirt we move, we're digging for something far greater than fossils. We're digging for hope, for connection, and for the future of Maplewood." The applause that erupted was thunderous. He saw smiles, heard laughter, sensed the electric connection in the air. It was a moment he wouldn't forget. Yet, as much as hope filled the room, doubts lingered in the back of Mr. Peterson's mind. Would they indeed discover more than fossils? Would they find the faith to believe in each other again? As families filed out of the auditorium, he lingered, a soft weight of uncertainty tucking itself into his heart. On the day of the field trip, they gathered by the riverbank early, the sun rising in a fiery hue over the horizon. Hands gripped shovels, eyes sparkling with anticipation. But as Mr. Peterson watched the first few kicks of dirt fly through the air, a nearby rumble echoed ominously in the distance. Dark clouds swelled, and the winds whispered warnings. "Everyone, stay focused," Mr. Peterson shouted, forcing a smile, but his gut twisted in concern. "Let us keep this exciting." Just as they uncovered the first glimmer of fossilized treasure, the distant rumble grew louder. Was it nature warning them, or a sign of something greater to come? He could feel the crowd's energy shifting, but the challenge of believing in the unexpected pushed at the back of his mind. Could they brave the storm ahead and still unearth their hidden wonders? Or would this adventure become another tale of disappointment? The first drops of rain began to fall, the sky darkening above them. It started as a light pitter-patter, then crescendoed into a soaked, unrelenting downpour. The initial excitement fizzled as students and parents shielded their eyes, glancing at one another in concern. Mr. Peterson's heart sank. "All right, everyone, let us set up some tarps," he shouted over the growing sound of the storm. "We can still make this work." With hopeful urgency, he directed groups to grab the supplies. The shovels were wielded like swords, ready to defend against the descending gloom. As the students rushed, their laughter faded into nervous murmurs. Mr. Peterson could feel the weight of the rain pressing down, the dynamic of the day beginning to shift. Fear crept in, threatening to muddle the energy they had built. But just as doubt threatened to settle in, he caught a glimpse of Taylor, a shy girl in the back. Her spirit flickered as she took hold of a shovel, determination etched across her face. "Come on, everyone," Taylor shouted, her voice bursting forth like a sudden ray of sunlight peeking through the clouds. "Let us dig. The fossils won't find themselves." A ripple of enthusiasm spread as others followed her lead. They rallied to carry tarps and buckets of water, scrambling to protect their digging site. "Dig deeper," Mr. Peterson encouraged, his own excitement rekindling. "Find what's below the surface. We're not just looking for fossils, we're looking for stories." With newfound resolve, they plunged their shovels into the earth. The rain turned into a steady rhythm, transforming the atmosphere into something electric. Their hands became caked with mud, and laughter returned amidst the chaos. The storm, once a threat, morphed into a part of the adventure itself. For every shovel of dirt that was thrown aside, a sense of unity formed. Parents shouted proud encouragement, siblings exchanged playful banter, and laughter rang out as someone slipped, landing right in a puddle. Mr. Peterson felt his heart expand with gratitude, witnessing the beauty of community even when faced with challenges. Then, the unmistakable glint of something hard caught his eye. A piece of fossilized wood emerged from the mud, cradled in the ground like a hidden gem. "Look at this," he called, excitement bubbling in his voice. Curiosity drew everyone closer, and the rain momentarily faded into the background as they gathered around. Parents and students marveled at the fossil. "It's real," cheered a boy named Sammy, eyes wide with disbelief. "We actually found something." 40 moments later, as they carefully unearthed more secrets from the soil, quiet revelations washed over Mr. Peterson. Each fossil they uncovered wasn't just a fragment of history. They were artifacts binding them, creating a shared legacy amidst the rain and uncertainty. He felt his doubts begin to dissolve, replaced by something more profound, a belief in what they could achieve together. Just then, a loud crash of thunder shook the air next to them, startling everyone and sending them into a dash for shelter. But they were not running away. They were sprinting together, laughter echoing through the storm as they scrambled towards the trees, not letting the tumult take away their newfound joy as they huddled under the canopy. Raindrops danced like percussion on the leaves above. Mr. Peterson looked around at the faces, some gleaming with mud, all reflecting excitement. "Okay, who's ready for round 2? He asked, heart pumping with hope as they enthusiastically set their plans. A flash of light illuminated the area, revealing something in the dirt beneath their feet, hidden but glimmering. Would this be yet another mystery, or a sign of a greater discovery? What awaited them just below the surface? Mr. Peterson squinted into the trees, where the wind whipped the branches like hands desperate to shield the secrets below. The strange shimmer in the mud beckoned him closer, urging him to unlock the mystery with a single touch. "What do you think that is?" he asked, his voice hardly above a whisper, sensing the heaviness in the air that accompanied the storm. "This has to be another fossil," shouted Taylor, her eyes alight with a fierceness that seemed to ignite the imagination of everyone gathered. "Let us find out what's there." The group forgot the rain for a moment, united by a shared thrill. Mr. Peterson motioned for them to spread out, allowing a few curious hands to carefully scrape away the earth surrounding the glimmering object. Their hearts raced with anticipation, and laughter returned as they worked together, digging in unison, exhilaration evident in their mud-spattered faces. Little by little, the object revealed itself, a shape that seemed both familiar and foreign. A quickening buzz of murmurs filled the air as more and more students knelt beside it, breathless. Sammy, the ever-enthusiastic boy, jumped up. "It looks like a giant shell. Do you think it's real?" "Only one way to find out," Mr. Peterson said, his own excitement bubbling to the surface. He reached down slowly, fingers trembling slightly as they brushed against the smooth surface. It felt cool and ancient, the weight of history resting in his palm as he lifted it gently. The crowd gasped in unison. The object, half buried, was a perfect ammonite, its swirled pattern intact, a representation of life from millions of years ago. "We've found something truly incredible," he announced, pride swelling in his chest. The storm felt forgotten in that moment, a mere backdrop to the wonder unfolding in front of them. But then, as they all gazed in awe at the ammonite, an unexpected rumble beneath their feet made them jump. A split second later, the ground shook again, stronger this time, sending a shiver down their spines. "Earthquake?" someone murmured nervously. "No," Mr. Peterson breathed, shaking his head, unable to comprehend the significance of what they were feeling. "It's the thunder. It's just really loud, yet deep down, that familiarity felt wrong." The force of nature seemed to whisper secrets, and he could sense that their digging had disturbed something far more significant. "Everyone, let us back away a little," he urged, not wanting to take any chances. As they stepped back from the excavation site, a crack in the ground widened ever so slightly, revealing a faint glow that pulsed in rhythm with the rain. It was something they hadn't expected, something more profound than fossils. "What is it?" Taylor whispered, clutching her shovel with wide eyes. "I don't know, but we're about to find out," Mr. Peterson replied, heart thumping in his chest. With a mixture of fear and excitement, he knelt down closer, trying to catch a glimpse of the mysterious light. What lay ahead held the promise of not just ancient life, but a connection to something awe-inspiring, something they may not fully understand yet. "Who's brave enough to help me?" he asked, a spark igniting within the group. Their hesitation lingered, but after a moment, Taylor stepped forward with unwavering resolve. "I'm in. Let us see what's hidden here." Encouraged by her bravery, others followed, hearts pounding as they prepared to uncover this mystery together. What would they discover beneath the earth? What hidden truths awaited them, tangled up in the storm? The rain fell heavier, as if nature itself was holding its breath, waiting for the revelation lying just beneath the surface. Mr. Peterson took a deep breath, feeling the weight of anticipation settle over the group. The air was thick with expectation as they gathered around the crack in the ground, the faint glow pulsing like heartbeat. Every eye was glued to the light, a mesmerizing dance that hinted at secrets buried deep within the earth's embrace. "Let us carefully clear the dirt away," he instructed, his voice steady. Taylor nodded eagerly, sharing a glance with her classmates. All of them caught in the spell of discovery as they dug. The glow intensified, illuminating the surrounding mud in a soft orange light. It wasn't just the shining object causing the hue. The very earth beneath them seemed alive, as if it breathed alongside their fast-beating hearts. "What is that?" Sammy asked, his curiosity palpable as he leaned forward, mud-streaked hands steadying himself on the cracked ground. The glow expanded, revealing more of the object. This time, it wasn't just the ammonite they had unearthed. Intricate patterns began to emerge alongside odd shapes that seemed to pulsate with energy. The usual excitement turned to a nervous energy as they began to understand that they were not just digging up fossils, but something far richer, something filled with potential. "Look," Taylor shouted, pointing. "There's an inscription." With renewed vigor, they carefully shifted the last bits of dirt away and gasped collectively. Embedded in the center of a crystalline structure was a circular disc, glowing brightly, with an intricate pattern of symbols etched deeply into its surface. It looked ancient yet strangely advanced, like it belonged to a civilization lost to time. Mr. Peterson's heart raced. This could be something really significant. The thrill of potential discovery coursed through him. "Everyone steady now. We need to treat this carefully." "Do you think it's a map?" one of the girls in the back whispered, her eyes wide in wonder. "A key?" another suggested, stepping closer and squinting down at the alien runes. "What if it tells us something important?" With shaking hands, Mr. Peterson brushed the surface of the disc, each stroke soft and deliberate. Suddenly, the symbols began to glow brighter, pulsing with an almost magnetic energy that drew them closer. A soft hum filled the air, resonating in their bones. "What is happening?" Taylor said, her voice trembling slightly, the excitement overshadowed by a growing fear. "I'm not sure," Mr. Peterson murmured, stepping back instinctively. "But it feels alive." Before anyone could react, a crack erupted from beneath them, sending ripples through the ground. The pulsing light from the disc became blinding, and the atmosphere shifted around them. It felt like the earth itself was awakening, responding to their discovery. "Get back," Mr. Peterson yelled as the group instinctively stepped away, their excitement now entwined with panic. The glow enveloped them, illuminating the forest around, casting long shadows and bending the rain into shimmering beams. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the humming ceased, and the glow dimmed. Hidden beneath the layers of mud lay not just a forgotten artifact but something deeper. The storm continued its relentless downpour, but the air had shifted. A charged silence fell among them. "What just happened?" Sammy whispered, frozen in shock. Mr. Peterson blinked, trying to wrap his mind around the transformation before them. I think we stumbled onto something remarkable, something that could change everything. As the rain finally began to let up, a distant rumble echoed through the trees, a reminder of the storm's fury and the secrets still hidden in the earth. The energy of their find lingered in the air, vibrating with potential. What would they uncover next? Let us dig deeper, Taylor said, determination flashing in her eyes. There's more to discover. And as they prepared to uncover more, a chilling thought struck Mr. Peterson. What if what they found was meant to stay buried? As they stood there, the muddy ground still quivering from whatever had just occurred, Mr. Peterson felt a mix of exhilaration and trepidation. The rain had lessened, but the air crackled with an electric tension that made every hair on his arms stand on end. He could sense the urgency in Taylor's eyes, in every young face surrounding him, each of them longing to unlock the mysteries that lay beneath. Okay, everyone, he said, steeling himself to lead the charge forward. Let us not lose this momentum, but let us be cautious. We don't know what could happen next. They got to work, their fingers digging away the last remnants of dirt from around the glowing disk. The deeper they went, the more they realized just how substantial this find was. White glimmers began emerging from the earth, looking like fragmented gems, scattered around the disk in a chaotic array. Mr. Peterson, look at this, shouted a boy named Lucas, holding up a chunk of what appeared to be a crystal. Tiny flecks of gold shimmered within. He could hardly contain his excitement. This is amazing. Careful now, Mr. Peterson cautioned, though he couldn't hide the smile creeping onto his face. Let us not treat it like a treasure chest just yet. We must respect whatever this is. The pulse of the disk heightened, and with it, an airy thrill wrapped itself around them. Taylor had moved closer, her heart racing with each tap of her palm on the surface. The symbols seemed to shift and morph, as if responding to her touch. What if it's a warning? Sammy murmured, glancing back at Mr. Peterson. What if it wants us to leave? We can't just abandon it. Taylor countered, the determination in her voice unwavering. Maybe it's a guardian? Lucas chimed in, eyes wide with wonder. Like protecting something beneath it? Before they could dive deeper into their speculation, the brief calm shattered with another roar of thunder. It felt like the heavens were arguing with the earth. The ground beneath them quaked again, a tremor that made them stumble. The disk glowed intensely, its light seeming to pulse in rhythm with the thunder, as if in response. What is this thing? Sammy interjected, anxiety etched on his face. For now, let us focus on uncovering it first, Mr. Peterson suggested, attempting to maintain control of the situation. Then we can decide what it is and what we should do next. As they frantically brushed aside the mud, managing to clear a good portion of the area around the disk, they began unearthing more objects. Shards of metal, unidentifiable stones, and what looked like ancient tools. Each find added to the surrealism of their discovery. But then, something deep in Mr. Peterson's gut twisted uneasily. What if the energy vibrating from the disk wasn't just excitement but a warning to leave? The thought hung heavy over him, stifling his breath. Before he could voice his concern, the air grew denser, and a chilling wind swept through the clearing, followed by a cascade of leaves that spiraled like confetti around them. It's starting to happen again, Taylor shouted, the fear creeping into her voice as she stepped back. Everyone back up, Mr. Peterson commanded, the urgency in his words rising as the ground trembled ominously beneath them. Just as they turned to retreat, the disk emitted a brilliant flash of light that swallowed them in its radiance, leaving nothing but shadows in its wake. They staggered backward, hearts pounding, as a low growl resonated from the earth, not just a sound, but a warning. What have we done? Lucas whispered, eyes filled with dread. Mr. Peterson's mind raced, a whirlwind of thoughts colliding. Whatever they had triggered, they had crossed a point of no return. The secrets of the earth were awakening, and each moment felt like a countdown to something monumental. Standing there, Mr. Peterson realized this wasn't just a chance at discovery. It might be the beginning of something far greater or far more dangerous than any of them could fathom. With voices hushed in anticipation, they remained frozen, waiting for the next echo from the darkness. What lay ahead? They couldn't know. But one thing was certain: a new chapter was beginning, and they were all right in its path. Would this discovery be their greatest achievement or the biggest mistake they'd ever made? The light from the disk enveloped them, blinding and overwhelming. Mr. Peterson felt an unfamiliar heat radiate from the surface, wrapping around him like a heated blanket. He blinked furiously, trying to make sense of the swirling colors and the murmur of energy dancing in the air. It was as if the very fabric of reality was shifting. "Stay close," he shouted, despite knowing their proximity was meaningless in that moment of chaos. The world around him was distorting, colors bleeding, shapes twisting. He could hear the crackling of electricity mixed with the collective breaths of his students, shallow and quick, vibrating with fright. Taylor's voice cut through the haze. "Look," she pointed, her finger trembling. The disk pulsed, its light revealing an inner core that seemed to swirl like deep ocean currents. Symbols and figures danced within, both mesmerizing and terrifying. They were stories unfolding, perhaps warnings from ages past. "Is it trying to tell us something?" Sammy whispered, his wide-eyed gaze fixed on the spectacle. The energy in the air was palpable, suffused with an ancient power they didn't fully comprehend. "Maybe," Mr. Peterson hesitated. "But what happens if we don't listen?" He couldn't shake the feeling that they were just playing into some forgotten hand of fate. Before he could say more, the growl rolled through the ground again, low and menacing. It was growing closer. The earth vibrated, and with it, their heartbeats synced to an unsettling rhythm. The rasp of air brushed across their cheeks, and dread twisted in the pit of his stomach. "Back, now!" He turned to lead the group away, but dark clouds rolled in over their heads, blotting out what little light remained. The disk began to thrum, its resonant sound rippling through the very ground. Then, against the chaos, a shadow emerged from the edges of the clearing. It was massive, shifting like smoke but darker than night itself. The fear around them ignited like dry kindling. Taylor gasped, gripped by a wave of anxiety. "What is that?" Lucas squeaked, the bravery in his voice evaporating. I don't know," Mr. Peterson replied, keeping his gaze locked on the apparition. Shadows writhed, forming shapes that seemed to reach toward them, hungry and ancient. It was a guardian of sorts, or perhaps a protector of the forgotten. "Mr. Peterson, we have to get out of here," Taylor cried, clutching at his arm. Panic rippled through the group as murmurs of fear and uncertainty spread like wildfire. "Stay together," he instructed, the weight of responsibility bearing heavily on him. Yet in that moment of decision he felt a strong urge to stand firm. What if this creature, this guardian, was not a threat but a living testament to the past? What if it's trying to communicate? Mr. Peterson proposed, though doubt gnawed at his spirit. "We need to find out." As he stepped forward, heart pounding in his chest, the entity pulsed in sync with the disk. It seemed to pause as if assessing their intentions. Hope, mingled with trepidation, flickered in the air. "Wait," Taylor's voice rang clear amidst the noise, drawing everyone's attention. "We can't run away without understanding. We must know." Every gaze turned to the figures looming before them, bewildered yet ready for whatever lay ahead. Mr. Peterson felt the pulse of the earth beneath his feet. There was no turning back now. Each beat echoed in his heart an invitation, or a warning, perhaps both, as shadows danced and the air thickened with anticipation. Mr. Peterson stood poised on the edge of an unknown destiny, ready to confront the mysteries that lay ahead. What would happen next? Would they become the harbingers of forgotten knowledge, or would they unleash something beyond their comprehension? The weight of the moment hung heavy, and in that breathless silence awaited the answer. The shadows loomed closer, and Mr. Peterson could feel the heaviness of their gazes, waiting and watching. He stood his ground, the thrum of the disk pulsing beneath his feet. The children held their breath, their fear palpable in the damp air. Time felt distorted, stretching out into an eternity as they faced the unfathomable mystery before them. The figure shifted, dark tendrils reaching down like vines, swaying as if responding to the unsteady rhythm of their hearts. In that moment, Mr. Peterson saw something flicker within the darkness, a glint of eyes reflecting light. They were ancient and wise, holding the weight of centuries. Could it be the guardian was aware of them? Of what they sought? Hope twisted in his chest. "Stay calm," he urged, his voice steadier than he felt. "We're not here to harm you." The pulse of the disc resonated stronger, almost harmonizing with the entity. It was a strange melody, a call from the past. Mr. Peterson took a hesitant step forward, driven by an insatiable curiosity and the fierce desire to protect his students. "Can you understand us?" As if considering his question, the shadow trembled. A soft rumble emanated from it, vibrating through the ground like the gentle rolling of distant thunder. The kids exchanged glances, some shielding their eyes from the oppressive light, but none retreating. They were united in this moment, swept up in a collective need to know. "Look," Sammy whispered, voice alight with wonder. The symbols within the disc swirled faster, casting shapes upon the ground that told a silent story. What if it's a map? A message? Mr. Peterson felt the spark of possibility. Yes, perhaps they were meant to witness this, an event beyond their ordinary lives. What if we need to unlock its secrets? He mused aloud, envisioning a realm of knowledge that could transform everything they understood about their world. Another shift in the shadow sent a shiver through the air, and a warmth spread from the disc, wrapping around them. It felt comforting, like a mother cradling a frightened child. The air buzzed with anticipation, leaving Mr. Peterson grappling with both fear and exhilaration. "Maybe this is our chance," Taylor said, her eyes alight with a fearless glow. "We have to try." Suddenly, the world around them vibrated louder, breaking through the building tension. It was an urgent call, both an invitation and a challenge. Mr. Peterson felt it tug at his heart. This was bigger than him. Bigger than the classroom, bigger than fear. With each heartbeat, shadows gathered like thick clouds at sunset, swirling to the rhythm of their resolve. And then he remembered what brought them here. The research, the whispers of long-lost history, and the wondering what came before them. "All right," he steadied his breath. "Let us speak with it." The courage swelling in him was shared by his students, lifting their spirits like a tidal wave. He reached out, palm open, feeling a connection in his gut. "Show us what you can." In that instant, the darkness began to part, flowing like liquid shadow. Shapes moved through the brightness, the stories from before time itself, rushing back to life. Ancient landscapes and creatures danced before them, visions that flickered with every ebb and flow of energy. Peterson felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. This, he thought, was the heartbeat of the earth, sweeping them into an understanding of their place in the universe. But before he could grasp it fully, cracks appeared in the swirling scenes, shifting ominously. The energy turned heavy and frantic, and the whispers morphed into jagged shouts. The visions began to collapse. "What is happening?" Lucas cried, gripping Taylor's shoulder, panic returning. "Hold on," Mr. Peterson shouted, but uncertainty twisted through him. What did they disturb? The thread of fate they tugged on frayed, and the guardians seemed to be resisting. He trembled, caught between the truth they sought and the unknown that threatened to swallow them. In that fraught moment, he realized that knowledge could be both a gift and a curse. And before they could react, a blinding light erupted from the disc, engulfing them completely. When the glow settled, they found themselves in a new reality, one that was entirely different. What had changed and what awaited them on the other side? The questions lingered in the air, heavy and electrifying. When the blinding light finally receded, Mr. Peterson blinked hard. His surroundings had transformed into an expanse of vivid colors and sounds. The air was rich with the scent of ancient earth and damp moss. Towering trees, unlike any he'd ever seen, reached towards a sky painted in swirling hues of orange and purple. The ground beneath them felt soft, covered in a carpet of thick, vibrant moss that pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. "Where are we?" Taylor whispered, her eyes wide with astonishment. I think we're in the Proterozoic Era," Mr. Peterson stammered, glancing at the kids. 2 billion years ago, Lucas was nearly bouncing on his feet. This is insane. Look at those plants. He pointed towards a cluster of enormous, leafy growths that stretched outwards like the arms of a welcoming giant. In the distance, strange sounds filled the air, humming, almost like songs stretching across the daylight. Something shifted in the trees, and a bizarre creature, scaly with luminescent patterns, appeared, its many eyes blinking curiously at them. A low growl reverberated through the ground, causing everyone to tingle with both fear and excitement. That's amazing, Sammy breathed, inching closer. What if they know we're here? Or what if they don't? Mr. Peterson replied, a knot forming in his stomach. We need to be careful. As they ventured further into this lost world, the disc pulsed gently in his pocket, its rhythm aligning with the thumping in his chest. The excitement of discovery clashed with an undercurrent of trepidation. Did they truly belong here, in this vibrant tale of life once lost? A cacophony of emotions gripped Mr. Peterson as he rallied his courage, determined to protect his students no matter where this adventure led. Suddenly, Taylor pointed towards a waterfall cascading over rocks with shimmering lights. The mist hung in the air like a soft veil, bathing everything in an ethereal glow. Maybe that water is safe to drink, she suggested, leaning towards its inviting sparkle. Let us just observe for now, Mr. Peterson cautioned gently. We don't know how anything here will react to us. As they traveled closer to the water's edge, the world shifted again. The trees began to sway as though they were alive, whispering secrets in a language older than time itself. The shadows amongst the trunks felt sentient, as if they were observing the adventurers with a mix of curiosity and wariness. Do you hear that? Lucas asked, straining to catch the soft murmurs. Those whispers grew louder, wrapping around them like a shroud. It's like they're trying to tell us something, Sammy said, her voice almost a hush. Mr. Peterson's heart raced. What if they were meant to unlock more? What if there were lessons hidden within the shadows and melodies of this ancient world? He felt the weight of responsibility press upon him. We should try to understand, he said, determination mingling with the thrill of exploration. But we need to work together. The kids nodded, their faces resolute. They formed a circle, holding hands as they focused their energy on the disc, allowing it to guide them, hoping for a sign. Just then, a figure emerged from the mist, the guardian of this realm, an ethereal being crafted from light and shadow, its eyes holding an ocean of wisdom. What do you seek? It asked, its voice resonating deep, echoing through their bones. Mr. Peterson felt a rush of fear and awe. We want to learn, he said, his voice trembling, to understand this world and our place in it. The guardian paused, studying each of them intently. The tension was palpable, woven tightly in the air as they awaited either blessing or judgment. Then prepare yourselves, the guardian intoned, a smile playing on its lips. For knowledge comes at a price. The words hung there, heavy with meaning. With every heartbeat, panic surged through Mr. Peterson. What would that price be? What lay ahead for them? The whispering shadows and living echoes deepened, urging them forward, and he couldn't shake the feeling that they might not be ready for what was to come. What would they sacrifice in this ancient dance of discovery? The guardian's words hung in the air, thick like the fog that swirled around them. Mr. Peterson held his breath, unsure of what would follow. What price? He finally asked, his voice steady although fear gripped his heart. The cost of understanding is often growth through struggle, the guardian replied, its voice resonating like a drumbeat in their chests. To learn, you must confront that which lies within. Mr. Peterson glanced around at his students, their faces a mix of determination and uncertainty. He could see the flicker of apprehension in their eyes, but also a spark, their adventurous spirit alive and seeking. What does that mean for us? He asked, standing firm against the looming uncertainty. Only by facing your fears and embracing your truths will you open the doors to discovery. The guardian's presence felt warm, yet every word sent shivers down his spine. It extended a shimmering hand, a palm glowing with an otherworldly light. What do we have to do? Taylor whispered, stepping forward. Her voice was resolute, her heart advancing toward the unknown. You must share your burdens. Each of you carries a piece of this world's weight. The guardian replied, gazing at them with ageless eyes. Let your fears take form in this realm, and only together can you find the path forward. Mr. Peterson felt the heat of determination surge through him, urging him to rally his students. He took a step closer, his heart pounding, ready to embrace whatever awaited. Okay, everyone, this is our moment. We can't face this alone. Everyone has something to share. Sammy spoke first, a tremor breaking her voice. My family struggles to make ends meet. I'm scared that I won't get to go to college. I feel lost, Lucas piped up, his voice strong yet faltering. No one expects much from me. I hate disappointing my family. Taylor, her brow furrowed, added, what if we never really make it? What if our dreams crash? Each confession spun a web of connection, intertwining their souls, lifting the veil of silence and fear. Mr. Peterson's heart swelled as they forged their fears into words. They didn't hold back. Every raw truth tethered them closer together, revealing the strength baked into their vulnerability. As the last word hung in the air, the guardian nodded solemnly. You face this fear together. Each step forward reveals hidden truths like digging through the earth. The more you uncover, the more you grow. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath them. The disc pulsed in rhythm, light spilling forth like moonbeams. Hold hands, Mr. Peterson urged, feeling an electrifying surge of unity. In that moment, a blinding flash illuminated the space. Shadows leaped around them, swirling and forming shapes of past struggles and ancient wisdom. The overwhelming surge of vulnerability transformed into assurance. The shadows melded into an image, a vision of blossoms breaking through barren soil, thriving against all odds. As the vision faded, realization washed over them. We are all part of this world, shaping its story as it shapes ours, Mr. Peterson remarked, voice filled with awe. Every fear and victory is intertwined. It's about growth, connection, hope. An extraordinary warmth enveloped them, a feeling like a soft embrace, a promise of resilience etched in time. The guardian smiled, now stronger, the shadows around it taking on a comforting glow. You understand now. Let this knowledge guide you. With a subtle jolt, the world began to shift again. The vibrant colors faded, replaced by a soft light blurring the edges of reality. What's happening? Lucas shouted as they braced themselves. As the light swirled, they felt a rush, like being swept into a current nurturing hope. They blinked against the radiance that gathered them closer, pulling them into a new realm. With a final flash, they found themselves back at the riverbank, the storm clouds clearing. The hum of laughter and chatter filled the air. The townsfolk, once lost in their doubts, were now celebrating a newfound spirit. They feel it too, Taylor said, her eyes lighting up, glistening with excitement. Mr. Peterson beamed, overwhelmed with emotion. This was the heart of the adventure. Their struggles forged into a tapestry of hope that had not only transformed them but their community. They had unearthed more than fossils. They had uncovered the spirit of Maplewood. Let us take this energy and continue to grow, Mr. Peterson declared, stepping forward, knowing the true challenge had just begun. Together, we embrace our journey. As laughter echoed around them, the sun broke through, radiant and full of promise. The disc pulsed like a heartbeat, now a cherished talisman of their journey, a reminder that strength lies in vulnerability, and hope flourished in connection. And in that moment, they grasped the lesson of the ages. Sometimes, the greatest mysteries don't just lie beneath the earth, but in the very hearts of those willing to dig deep and rise together. Time to continue the adventure. You need to subscribe now to be part of the journey into more incredible discoveries. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help this community grow. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this ending. We want to hear from you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends you think need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to support the channel. Join the adventure today.